Okay, let's be honest. When I say Rottweiler, what's the first thing that jumps into your mind? Probably some big, snarling guard dog, right? Well, what if that image is just a tiny piece of a much, much bigger puzzle? Today, we're going to zoom all the way out and show you the real story of this incredible breed. Yeah, think about that for a second. This dog, the one with this tough guy reputation, was once the trusted guardian of Roman gold. It sounds like something out of a movie, but it's totally true. So let's just start there. Let's start taking apart these myths and find the real Rottweiler, piece by piece. And this, right here, is the absolute heart of it all. The myth is that they were bred to attack. But the truth? They were bred to think. And if you can just wrap your head around that one single idea, it changes everything you thought you knew about them. So to really get what that thinker mindset is all about, we have to look past the muscle. We've got to dig into what they were actually created to do. And trust me, it's a story that's way more about brains than it is about brawn. And look, when I say their roots go back, I mean they go way back. We're talking over 2,000 years. You know, a breed doesn't last that long by accident. It sticks around because it is exceptionally good at what it does. All right, so let's actually follow that journey. We're going to travel from the dusty camps of the Roman Empire all the way to a little German town that actually gave them their name. This is the history lesson that explains how they got that incredible mind. This timeline really lays it all out, doesn't it? I mean, for the Romans, they were the original multitaskers, part shepherd, part security. Then, fast forward to the Middle Ages, they become this legendary butcher's dog in Germany. And now, today, they're trusted as police canines, therapy animals, and of course, family members. You see that common thread, right? It's always about trust. It's always about serious responsibility. And while we're on the topic of their name, let's just bust a quick myth. The name Rottweiler comes from a German town, Rottweil. That's it. It has absolutely nothing to do with rotting or anything like that. It's a name that's all about heritage and hard work. Okay, this right here, this is probably my favorite story about these dogs. Back in Rottweil, butchers would finish their day at the market, and to get home safely, they'd tie their money pouch around their dog's neck. I mean, just stop and think about that. That's not just using a dog as a deterrent. That's putting your entire livelihood in the care of an animal you trust completely. It's a statement about their intelligence and their unwavering loyalty. And that kind of trust from history, it makes a whole lot more sense when you actually understand how their minds work. Because it's not just about being smart enough to follow commands, it's about this deep emotional intelligence that, honestly, most people completely miss. So, on paper, they're absolute geniuses. Study after study puts them in the top 10 most intelligent dog breeds. We're talking about a dog that can learn a new command in like fewer than 5 repetitions. But those book smarts, that's only half the story. And this is what really sets them apart. A Rottie doesn't just hear a command and blindly obey. Nope, they hear it, they process it, and then they actually evaluate whether it makes sense in that situation. So that little pause you might see, the one you might mistake for being stubborn, that's not stubbornness. That's the sound of the gears turning in their head. That is critical thinking in real time. And it's exactly why they're so good at complex jobs like search and rescue. But here's the thing. That brilliant mind is connected to a really sensitive heart. These dogs form incredibly deep, intense bonds with their families. They're the kind of dog that can read your mood from across the room. A lot of times, they're just happy to sit quietly and be this steady, watchful presence in your life. You know, this quote just says it all. I've heard so many owners say the exact same thing. My Rottie knows I'm sad before I even do. It's like they have this almost psychic level of intuition. So that deep emotional connection, that's really the foundation of their most famous job, being a guardian. And it is so important to understand this. Guardian is not the same thing as aggressor. Not at all. A true protector is thoughtful, they're calculated. So if they aren't just these mindless attack dogs, how do they actually go about protecting their family? What does that calculated guardianship actually look like? Well, their method is basically a masterclass in de-escalation. A well-balanced Rottweiler is almost always going to observe a situation first. They're not going to just explode into barking for no reason. In fact, their first move is often to just use their body, to literally place themselves between their person and whatever they see as a threat. It's a technique called body blocking. Biting, that is the absolute final last resort, only after every other warning has been ignored. So let's just put it out there crystal clear. The myth is this idea of an impulsive attacker. The reality? It's a calculated deterrent, a dog that uses its brain and its presence to keep its family safe, not just its teeth. And all of this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the single most important piece of the puzzle: the human. You see, with a Rottweiler, maybe more than any other breed, the dog you end up with is a direct reflection of the owner you are. So what's the absolute biggest mistake you can make with a dog that thinks for itself? Trying to train it like it's a robot. Using harsh, punishment-based methods on this breed will backfire every single time. Because of their intelligence and that sensitivity we talked about, they just shut down under that kind of pressure. They don't respond to fear and punishment. What they respond to is calm leadership, consistency, and mutual respect. They don't need a dictator. They need a leader. And you have to remember this: a calm owner creates a calm dog. So, if that's the case, why all the bans? Why the bad reputation? Well, it's not because the dogs are born bad. It's because when you have a dog this strong and powerful, mistakes made by the owner have much bigger consequences. Poor training in a little dog might just be annoying. In a Rottweiler, it can become dangerous. And the research is so clear on this. The #1 predictor of aggression in any dog is the owner's behavior, not the dog's breed. Okay, so if you're actually thinking about bringing a Rottweiler into your life, let's talk practicals. Their lifespan is usually around 8 to 10 years, and yeah, like a lot of big breeds, they can be prone to joint and heart problems. But the most important takeaway here is about their brain. You have to give them a mental workout. A bored Rottweiler is a destructive Rottweiler. That mental stimulation, it is absolutely non-negotiable. So look, the Rottweiler is not the right dog for everybody. They demand a real leader, someone who can give them a job and a sense of purpose. But for the right person, if you can earn their respect, you don't just get a pet. You get a partner, you get a guardian, a thinker, and this silent shadow who proves that the greatest strength isn't about showing your teeth, but about having a quiet, unshakable confidence.